Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me again as usual is Morganne Rayne, Adept visionary, spiritual guide, ceremonialist and artist. And as we already all know, much more than them. But she's not opening up and she's not telling anything. She keeps her secrets.
No, I'm an open book, Daiga. You know that, and
Not really. You are the other onion side of onion. If I'm the onion who peels off the one thing after another, and then you can feel something else again needs to be opened and work at. For you is different. You are like you know this, and you can help me with this, but then you know this as well, and you can do this.
yeah, I do have to admit that I was gifted. I mean, I know that, and but I don't take advantage of that, and it's a tremendous responsibility to carry the gifts that I have. And they're not for me. My gifts are not for me. They are for humanity. They are for those who come in my path. Um, and my gifts are gifts that if I don't use them, they will go away, just like everyone's gifts. Not that they'll go away; they just kind of lie dormant. But you'll know if you're not using your gifts because your life's not going quite right.
Yeah.
A long time ago, I I'd already been divorced from my third husband, and I'm kind of just in that place of, well, what do I do next? And I thought, well, I better go get a job. I better get my act together here, and start again, because with that third husband, a lot of my wealth was disappeared. And as hard, that was hard, let me tell you. That was really difficult to have an entire portfolio disappear, your home disappear, all of that. But those things are just things. Those things can be recreated, but I had to learn that along the way. So I decided, oh, I better go get a job, right?
I'm
Well,
I'm sorry, Morgana. Stop you for a minute. Jeannie is with us,
hey, Judy.
and she said, "Good morning. I look forward to today's session." Good morning, Jeannie. We're both very excited that you are with us, and there is somebody else with us. So please say hello to us, and if you have any questions,
Yeah.
please ask us questions.
Yeah. So I don't know where I left off, but
You
oh,
better get job.
yeah, our gifts, right? So so I went and I got a job, and I'm fabulous at that job. I can do just about anything you put in front of me because I'm really smart, and I can figure that out, and I have really good people skills. So I'm doing this job, but my inner voice is like, you don't belong here. Even though, like, I was like every anytime I've taken a job, I've always risen to the top. Like when I was in ministry, up at the top, and doing having clients, I would have a full roster. You have a job, I'd be the top of the heap. It's just my nature. Somebody called me cream, says you're like cream. You always rise to the top. You don't have to do anything. You just rise to the top. Well, but even though I was rising to the top, and I'd been given an increase of more things to do because I was good, right?
Of
Then
course.
you start equating your worth for what you're doing, right? But there's that inner voice within me that was, um, uh, I won't call it unhappy. I would call it, there was a divine discontent. There was a discontent in me because the praise and the accolades I was getting from the outer world, that was not what was feeding my soul. That was feeding my ego, but not my soul. And I remember when there was an intense period of my inner world and my outer world kind of in a collision course about what was I going to choose. And so what I chose, what I chose was to surrender to my interior world, to my heart, to my guidance. And it was amazing what happened, because what happened in that process of that job situation, there was a change of ownership. And in the ownership, the person who had just purchased the company wanted to do everything new, everything different. They didn't want any of the old way, right? So because I was the most experienced and most highly paid, I was one of the first that was being slotted to go, even though I didn't know that, right? I didn't know it, but that's what was happening behind the scenes. And I just kept doing my job, but I was following my guidance, and my guidance says, we'd be leaving. That is going to go away. We're going to move away from that. So I just kept opening myself. And sure enough, one day, early in the morning, I get called into the conference room. And what's interesting is nobody was ever in the building at 6 o'clock in the morning but me, because I got the most work done at that time. But the owner and HR was there with the wonderful news that they were eliminating my position. Right. And my guidance, oh boy, my guidance was like on fire. It was going, keep your mouth shut. This is guide. Keep your mouth shut. So I had a direct communication from guidance. So I went in, I listened. I just listened. I kept the mouth shut. I didn't. The only thing I said during that, when they asked me to sign paperwork, I said, I'll need to take this home and have my attorney read it. That's all I said. And so I went, picked up my things, and left. Well, because I could keep my mouth shut, I didn't argue or I didn't do any of that. I got unemployment benefits. So I had all I needed to begin anew, to begin the course that I'm here to do, right? But if you don't listen to your guidance, if you fight that all the time, then you are going to, if guidance is leading you, not your ego, but if guidance is leading you to make corrections in your life and you don't do it, your life will suck. Period.
Or
Right?
you will get hurt in the process.
You will, well, that's part of your life will suck, right? If you're hurting, your life sucks. So, it's the willingness to turn within. And because in the scriptures, it says the kingdom of God is within you. Jesus himself said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, that doesn't mean it's out there. It doesn't mean it's a man in the sky somewhere. The kingdom of heaven, God is right here within you. So put that to the test. Begin to wake up that that's true. Begin to wake up. Now, this is great because I've been, since I had a beautiful conversation with a precious friend of mine who is a light worker, who is, this being is so full of love and light, and there's not that some shit hasn't happened in her life, because I'll tell you it has. but her willingness to surrender, and surrender to love, surrender to unconditional love, surrender to forgiveness in the most difficult place to forgive, allowed her to ignite those codes that were in her of unconditional love. We're given situations, and you'll see what you're made of when you get those that guidance. You'll see what you're made of when you get an experience in front of you that doesn't feel good or doesn't look right or whatever. You know what you're made of by the choices you make. So if you choose to forgive and be in unconditional love, that has nothing to do with that person and whatever happened, or the perpetrator of anything. Has everything to do with you and how and what you choose to what you choose and how you choose to respond tells you everything you need to know about yourself. I made a bunch of notes this morning because this awareness is just so rich and ripe. So I don't want to lose my gist of what Spirit was telling me is really important. Okay, so I want to talk about your emotions. So people, it's good to know what your emotions are, and we have them all the time, but do we identify what they are and flow with it? So like we can have, there's all kinds of emotions we can have, but the dominant ones that will teach you something would be like anger. So I think everybody that's listening now will listen in the future. All humans have experienced this thing called anger, right? And if we're looking at the map of consciousness that we talk about, anger's not at the bottom of the scale. Anger's quite a few up from the scale because it's a powerful energy. So what does anger tell you when you're in that place of just anger? Well, it's telling you where you feel powerless. So if you can tap into that energy, that feeling of anger, and acknowledge, I feel powerless, right? So if you feel powerless, it's not dealing with this um, energy of anger where you're just kind of, I don't know. When I've been in anger, it's like my head feels confused, my body hurts. There's a lot going on. And if I just let that take me, then the anger has me. But if I go, oh, I feel anger, like call it, like, wow, feel this anger. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling powerless. What am I feeling powerless over? You know, what's feeling overpowering to me? What if you begin to question it and go, wow, here's this energy of anger. Now, anger is powerful because it can lead to a breakthrough, which is beautiful. So anger in and of itself it is not bad. It can be used to move us up that beautiful awareness and consciousness scale. So if we tap into that energy of anger, or it finds us some way, or it triggers the angers of that have been stacked up inside of us for all of this incarnation and maybe other incarnations, then we can go, wow, I'm experiencing this anger. I feel powerless. Then it's, I'm not powerless, because you can turn within and you can find the source of your true power. The ego in of itself truly is powerless. It has no power. It just has tools it uses that where we forget. Okay, so that's anger. So what about anxiety? Well, anxiety truly is about worrying about something that's not even happened. It's in the future, right? But it's telling you that there's something in your life is off balance. So if you're in anxiety and you're fearing the future, well, truly, you need to come back to yourself, to that interior self of you, and get back into balance. Come back into balance. So, what does that mean? Maybe it means to um, get your chakra system tuned up. Maybe it means to go sit in your heart for a period of time. Maybe it means to just begin a prayer, because when we are in anxiety and we're fearing the future and we're off balance, when we are in that state, it's the perfect time to begin to say, where can I bring balance in my life? Because if we're afraid or we have anxiety in that present moment, that's all hooked to the past. So anxiety is hooked to an event or a series of events that all occurred in the past. So that past and that future are irrelevant, because there's only the present moment now where we can come into balance, where we can collapse those imaginary timelines of the past and the future, because the past is over, the future hasn't happened. All we got's this present moment. If we come back to the present moment and just do that breathing and coming in and giving your body temple some attention, maybe drink some water, do those things that begin to nurture you and bring you into balance, then there won't be anxiety. Because anxiety is a result of putting your attention on the future based on something from the past. And so all it's telling you is come back to the present moment. So in the present moment is where you're most in balance. And so seek for that balance of coming within. Okay, so that's I addressed anger, I addressed anxiety. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is one of the most resisted emotions that humans. So if all of a sudden something fearful comes up, well, fear has a place in our life. It can tell us if there's a bear beginning to chase us. Fear will, in and of itself, is not bad, but it tells us, it alarms us when we might need to be paying attention. But when fear comes and it kind of becomes this dominant experience and you don't know what you're afraid of, what is it telling you? It tells you what you really care about. So that fear is, so if you're fear of being lonely, right? Or if you're fear of not having enough, that fear is just really saying, I care about this. So when you care about it, rather than having that energy of the fear there, fear is also hooked to the past, by the way. If you put your attention on the fear is just going to kind of take over. And if you move out in your world with fear, the results will roll over you, actually. But if you take and you acknowledge, oh, wow, there's fear right there. What am I feeling fear about? Go in. Again, we're going to bring that energy in and examine the fear. Well, you might discover that the place where you have fear is a place you really care about, right? But maybe you don't have the you feel powerless in it. So this kind of takes us all back into the other emotions, like the anger, right? Because if we feel powerless and we're afraid we're powerless, we may become angry. So I'm telling you all of these things because it's important to know what your emotions are so that you can take that within and discover where it's coming from. Okay, so that's fear. My next one is apathy. Apathy is, boy, when you're in that state of apathy, you almost can't move. It's like, I give up. I can't do this anymore. I'm I'm, well, what it is that you're overextended and you're burnt out. So if you find yourself feeling burnt out, um, overextended, then that apathy, if you take that energy within, your feelings aren't random. It's telling you something. So if you're in that place of apathy, it's like, okay, I'm feeling burned out. I need to regenerate. I need to take care of myself. I need to give some self-love here. I need to give me some energy so that I can catapult myself out of that apathetic flat line. I've heard it say it's like a flatline state, and I've been there. I actually, that's the worst state to be in because it's hard to get going from that energy. You really have to be doing that internal work and really put your consciousness there so that you can move yourself out of it. You can shift your own energy. So understand that all your feelings, all these emotions are trying to tell you something. And you need to be able to let them speak to you, to not be afraid of it, and tell you what it is you really need. And so when we begin to ask ourselves, wow, this is what's going on. What do I need? What do I really need? And spend the time and go within, not what does my ego need? What do I need? What does my soul need? What does Morganne really need right here? And a lot of times people don't put their attention on that. What they do is they jump up, they go out and they begin the do, right? And that doing is that's where you get that egoic validation. Oh, you're doing good, keep going, no. It's about who you are. Okay, so all of this, it's interesting. I got a little quote here that I pulled up, and I want to say this quote because it's about the ego. The ego is not only the unobserved mind, the voice in the head which pretends to be you, but also the unobserved emotions that are in the body's reaction to what the voice is saying in the head. So everything that I just told you about the emotions and those reactions to the emotions and where those will lead you, that's the ego, that unobserved mind, the what in the Course in Miracles we called that the wrong mind, the wrong thinking. And if we put our attention on that, we're going to just create more of that. But if we begin to observe, we begin to question, we begin to be curious about those emotions that are within us, then the reactions, the body reactions and our behavioral reactions will have a time to, like, they won't react. Then you can begin to respond and be response able to whatever is coming up. So let me just stop here. Daiga, have you got any questions about this before I just...
No, I think it's very interesting, but I do not have questions. If somebody from our viewers have questions, please let us know about that. No, there is no question.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so now this is about, again, bringing the awareness to our energy. So if we got all these emotions going on and we can be curious about them and we can be in response to find out where our growth is or what the energy is needing at that time, then we can be in an energetic flow. If we don't, if we continue to be in the emotions of anger or fear or anxiety or depression or whatever those are, then those are like an anchor, and they hold our authentic self in a stagnant stasis of non-movement. So our energetic body becomes dark and unhealthy. Our physical body will respond to that too by becoming dark and unhealthy. But if we begin to be curious about those emotions and we begin to address those emotions in a responsible kind of way, then our energy begins to flow. It begins to become a flowing awareness. And that's where we want to be, so that our energy is flowing. Because really, right now, we are on our journey back home, which is right here, right? It's within us. So if we're on our journey back to awareness, back to waking up, back to heaven, in the Course in Miracles, we talk about that state, that state of heaven, which is bliss and love and joy and goodness. It's like, why not? Why can't we should go there? I mean, we've given enough attention to those lower density energies of fear and pain and suffering and depression and all that stuff. Let's bring our energy back into awareness so that we can begin a flowing process. Because if we don't flow, our energetic aura is going to be sticky, and your transmission from that, how people are going to feel around you if you're in that state, is they're going to feel the same way, because we transmit that energy. Have you ever walked into a room and you can feel something's off? And just for me, I do that. Yeah, I'm highly, you're empathic, and so you can feel it, right? But that's where, that's why I love Ho'oponopono. So if you do come into a situation like that, if you recognize it, that means it's inside of you. If you recognize it, you feel it, oh, you're in resonance with that. What would be the first thing you do? Oh, I begin to clean myself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me for holding that frequency and that energy. I love myself. I love me. And so I give me the new frequency of life or love or whatever it is that it is calling you, whatever it needs. So when we begin to live a life that is from that inner life, from taking that time through meditation and asking your higher self, that Holy Spirit of yourself, to guide you, to lead you, to help you, to whatever, to respond in that beautiful, holy way, then it can do that. And what happens, our aura becomes a beautiful flow of beautiful energy. And really we want that, because that's our electrical body. That's our light body. We're either a light body or we are not a light body. So what we want to do, and what the work we do together and on this planet at this time, is to help people come into awareness of their light bodies and how to get there. Okay, so now I'm going to read some notes I wrote about this. So when we are in the world, so if we look at our world right now, we can hear about wars, rumors of wars, flooding, land disasters, earthquakes, all this stuff going on. But what if that is just simply a reflection of what's going on internally? What if we are projecting that out into our world? What if and I'm not denying that those experiences exist out there, but if we're responding to them, or if we have upset about them, that's our opportunity now to come in and be the light in the world. So the conversation I was having with a friend of mine is, there's an awareness of her experience as being a light worker, But there's also the egoic push away from that, because, well, whatever fear will come up, or do you have to give this up in order to be a light worker, or do you not get to experience the beautiful worldly experiences? And that's not true at all. See, humans have got this thing that it's about what you do in the world. And that's a falsehood. That's a lie. It's what it's about is, who are you? What's the resonance of your being? Are you being love? So if you say, oh yeah, I'm a light worker and I'm here to bring unconditional love, but then you got fear come up, well, are you in unconditional love at that time? No. That's where you get to move that unconditional love into your own life and be curious about that fear energy. See, what are you caring about? What are you fearing about? What's, when you become, that's when you begin to, you do that cleaning, right? You have this responsibility, and I love that word, responsibility, to your own beingness, to keep yourself clean and clear and in the frequencies of what and who you are. And I also believe that wherever we are in our worlds, like I'm here in the Pacific Northwest, you're over in there in the UK, but wherever we are or wherever we travel to, that's where our energy of light being is needed at the time. There's nothing random here. So if you're a light worker or you're a light being or a healer, you are strategically placed where you are. And that's where you are to become and anchor the light, anchor the love, anchor the peace, anchor those higher frequencies, that kingdom of heaven, if you will. That's where we are. So if you get planted in a place that seems fearful, then what's your responsibility? It's to bring love to that situation. It's to bring peace to that situation. It's to reach deep inside of yourself and pull that forward so that you can be the transmission of that, not add to the fear, not add to the anger, not add to that, to bring the healing of that, to bring the light into that. So when we do all of this, it continues to activate us. It activates what we call light codes within us. And maybe some of us have experienced here that these light codes, they're already in us, actually. They're embodied in our DNA. Our DNA is a God code. And whenever we are ready, those activations happen. So they can be in the form of like a download or an aha moment or anything like that, where you go, wow, I've just had a new thought. But you get to that and you arrive at that by your willingness to put your attention within and to draw from the within the light and the love. The world isn't going to give you that. The world can reflect it back to you, but you are that. That's why wherever we are, it's kind of like being, I've talked about me being in this where I live, right? And that there was a period of time during some of this lockdown that we had where people did not agree with my choices. And there was a lot of anger and hatred that was directed at me. And at first it was like, wow, I could feel it. It's like, what do I need to do? Run, what do I need to do? See, there it is. What do I need to do? No, my guidance was love them. This is fear. Love them unconditionally. And so it can look hard, but the truth is It doesn't matter what's dished out in front of you. Can you reach within yourself and discover that fear or that anger or whatever that is, and ask yourself, what do you need? Well, love. I mean, love. So if it's not coming from you from the outer expression, reach within yourself and ask for God's unconditional love, and just be in that. Just imagine what that would feel like. Allow your body temple to relax into this conversation of unconditional love and peace. And when we do that, then we become the resonance of that. And then we can share that in our world. We become the living embodiment of love and light. And the more we do that, the more we become a transmitter of that. And when we transmit, it's like a radio dial, right? We turn to the channel love, light, and peace, so we can turn to the channel of fear, anger, and anxiety, right? And maybe sometimes we're kind of caught between the two channels where we're kind of getting both of those things. The point I'm trying to make here today is that when we're courageous enough to just go within and practice practice and observe what's going on within us, then we're not living in that unobserved state of anything can happen to us. We begin to live in observation of our feelings, our thoughts, our actions, and that's where we can make changes. And that's where we can become truly the resonance that we came here. So, and this is all to go back to, yes, I have gifts, but we all have gifts. We all have that. And maybe mine got turned on earlier than some people. It just is where I needed to be. It's what I came here to do. Doesn't mean that you don't have that within you. You all do. It's what we are. And so when we surrender to or lean into, I like it better, leaning into that light and that love and that interior life of God and the Holy Spirit, then when we move in our world, we transmit that into our world. And our world needs that right now more than anything. So wherever you are, bring that love through a smile, through an action. Bring that peace through your peaceful constitution. Be present in your world, as present as you are within yourself. And so many beautiful things can occur for you. So I'll just kind of stop it there. Have you got any questions, Daiga? Or anybody have questions?
Jeannie is saying, thank you, Morganne. That was very helpful.
Oh, beautiful.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for participating, Jeannie. And everybody else, please put your comments down. And if somebody can't comment, please don't be afraid of, just sign up for my channel. If it's asking to sign up for this YouTube channel, don't be afraid, because it's nothing to do about payments. We are not taking any money for anything. We will.
Yeah. So I'm grateful that Jeannie said thank you. You know, that I want this to be helpful for everyone, because I'm on a mission. Right? I've been on a mission since I was a little kid, when I first heard that voice that I was needed to be here, that who I was absolutely necessary, and that everyone would ascend. Well, when you're a little kid, you don't even know what that means, right? You just don't know what that means. But my soul knew what it meant. my soul knew what it meant. And that's why it continued to live in me, and it became like a mission in my life to help everyone ascend. And how do we ascend? We pay attention. We go within. We observe what's coming forward. We observe ourselves, and then we make new choices. I love the Course in Miracles where it says, "Choose again." We're not locked into it. We can choose again. Oh, well, that didn't feel quite right. I can choose again. But sometimes we think we get locked into it and that we're stuck with that, and we're not. And it's kind of like that, that saying where, let me make sure I get it right. It's about a man can never stand in the same river twice. That's what it is. Or a person can never stand in the same river again. It's not the same because the river is constantly moving. The water's constantly moving. The underground, the sand and the rocks are constantly moving. Not only that, we are different. And if we stand in that river, it's not the same river, and we are not the same person. We have changed. The river has changed. So I would say if you find you're not changing, you're kind of stuck in the same patterns of unforgiveness, patterns of anger, patterns. If you're holding a construct of energy that's not flowing. So I'll go back to that. We want our energy flowing, moving. And all those lower density emotions unobserved will keep us stuck and stagnant. And that's where I can get a little heated. I can get a little, I can get agitated in that because I want people to move. I want everyone to ascend. I want us all to wake up and remember who we are.
I think that I can say same thing as you. I get agitated when somebody you listening, and after 10 sessions you listening to same person again, and you can't. Doesn't matter what you do, what techniques you are telling them to do, yeah, and encouraging them to do. They just in same place and they don't want to move forward.
No, and something about being in that place is important to them. So it's okay, discover what's important and what do you need. I've been stuck in the same place sometimes. I mean, there have been periods in my life where I've been stuck in the same place and didn't want to move out of that place or couldn't. It's that apathetic thing again, right? Or punishment. We don't move out of a situation because we're punishing ourselves for maybe a mistake we made, or we're wishing punishment on others for mistakes they made. So when we look at those, all that energy will just keep us really stuck, will keep us grounded in the world and of the world. And that's not where we're going. The world is no thing. It's no thing. In fact, everything that you see in your world has already been created, and now it's the past.
And we are literally here to create new world.
Exactly. So in order to do that, we must find out who we authentically are. Some people call it our new self. Well, is it our new self? It's our real self, our authentic self, without all those self-imposed limitations and fear and all that stuff. Just find out what it feels like to be courageous and authentic and live in that flow of energy. Yeah.
Talking about energies and creations, today is this portal 222.
Oh, yeah.
So we haven't mentioned today's portal yet. Maybe you have something to say about that.
Well, we can look at the energies of the cosmos, and we're always getting assistance from the cosmos to shift.
And I'm sorry, and I have synchronicity 1818. I just look synchronicity 1818 on the clock.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's because you use military time, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So it's like that. So 1818 999, symbol of completion, right? So, so all of those kind of things, those little things that stimulate us to remember, for me, for many, 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 many years, it was 111 or 11 or 1111 is always those ones. So I call them my portals. Well, this 222 energy is so it gives us the opportunity to think about it like a portal, that it's easier at this time. It's the energies of the world is offering you like a respite almost, right? But also to give you the extra push you need to move into. So it's full moon, 222 energy, all that energy. And we can use that energy to catapult us into awakening and remembering. Our world is changing. Our world is changing. It's going to change with us or without us. And what is it going to change to? We're the creators of that. We're the architects of it. And if you don't believe you're the architect of your own life, then don't do anything and see where that goes for you. Also, think about this. If we are architects of our own life, what are the tools we are given, right? So we have emotional tools, we have skills and things like that to move us. So if we're the architect of our life, what are you building? What are you creating? So I'd ask myself that question really ruthlessly. Well, what am I creating here? I'm a human. I have experiences in my life that are ongoing, that I can't change them. I can't physically go over there and go, oh, you change, right? The only thing I need to change is me. I'm the change maker, and it's within me. And when we try to change others, that's wasted energy, totally wasted energy. We must change within.
Okay, and that's time for us for meditation. So we can start meditation.
Okay, well let's go find out what Holy Spirit has for us here. So, oh, beautiful beings. Let's just take a breath together. One of the most simple things you can do to go within is to take that breath, but a conscious breath. And so let's just take that breath again, but this time just follow your breath within and just find out, where does it land? Take a breath with me. And just notice, where does your breath end? Can you have a full, expansive, big diaphragm breath? And then just let the breath out. And can you release the whole breath? Are you hanging on to any of that breath? Now another beautiful breath in. And this time, as you breathe it in, imagine that all around you is the living presence of the divine God, creator, light, love, peace, joy energy. and that is all around you. It just exists there. And imagine that it's in the air, that the next breath you breathe in, that you bring all that in with you. So go ahead and let's take a breath and bring all that beautiful awareness of the presence and the power and the love and the joy and the peace of God right there. Take a breath in. And where does that breath land? And maybe take another breath on top of that breath and hold it there. And let that awareness of that frequency, that energy, just ignite your cells. And now let it go. And just stop for a moment on that out breath and just check in with your body. How's it feeling? What's coming up for you? Are there any doubts? Are you experiencing some peace? We're going to take another breath in, and again, we're going to imagine, and we can imagine it, but it's absolutely true because the power and the presence and the life of God is in as it's with all that is. So as we have that awareness, again, focus on what is all around you, the power and the presence and the love and the life, and what would that look like, and what's possible with that, and think about that, and the presence of peace. What would that feel like? What would that look like? How would your body feel? How would your mind feel? How would your heart feel? So in the air, all around us is the presence of all of that. And so we're going to take another really conscious breath in, but this time we're going to bring it all right into our heart. So again, focus on the living presence of love and light and peace and joy. And how about some forgiveness? How about that's there too? And we're going to take and breathe that all right into our heart center. Take a breath with me. And let that peace come in. Let that love come in, filling up your heart center. And hold that breath there. Does it feel comfortable, uncomfortable? And then very just slowly, without losing your conscious awareness in your heart center, just let that breath go very sweetly, very gently out. But keep your focus within. Keep your focus on your heart. Bring your awareness to the center of your being, your heart center. And just keep breathing into your heart. And into your heart, I'm just going to drop this little nugget. This is a nugget of awareness. I am the architect of my world. Just sit with that thought. I am the architect of my world. Just sit with that thought. I am the architect of my world. What am I building? What am I creating? What's the vision? I am the architect of my world. Where am I building it from? What are my tools? My first tool is awareness. I am aware of my emotions. Bring that in. I am aware of my emotions. Awareness is one of your tools as an architect. I am aware of my emotions, with the feeling. Keep your awareness on your heart. And remind yourself again, I am the architect of my world. What are you going to build with? What's the material that's going to unfold your world? Let's begin with a little love. Mm-hmm. So let's bring some love energy, love frequency into your heart. And here we can call upon the Holy Spirit part of us, our higher guidance aspect of us, to bring in that resonance of unconditional love. Take a breath in. I am the architect of my world, and my foundation is unconditional love. Feel into that. I am the architect of my world. My foundation is unconditional love. Stay in your heart. Stay in that portal of energy that is right there in your heart that allows you ascension. I am the architect of my world, and my foundation is unconditional love. Just keep breathing into that awareness, into that consciousness. And if you did nothing more than this, the frequency that you would generate into your world would be so powerful. As the architect of your world and your foundation as unconditional love, what else can you use to build your world? As the architect, what do you design? I design a world of plenty for all. Take a breath into that. As the architect of my world, where my foundation is unconditional love and there is plenty for all, I bring peace. Peace, deep rooted peace. All is well. All is good. I am the architect of my world. My foundation is unconditional love. All beings are supplied with all they need. We are all at peace. Take a breath in. Anchor that vision. Anchor your design. It's now a part of your matrix that is unfolding. And breath out. Relax into your heart space again, bringing awareness to your heart space. Check into your body. How's your body feeling right now? Are you feeling relaxed and at peace? Are you feeling emotions coming forward? Let them come. Let them flow. Be the flow. Be the river. Again, checking into your body temple, your heart space. Checking into your thinking. What am I thinking upon? Am I focusing on lovely things? I am the architect of my worlds. My foundation is unconditional love. All people, all souls have everything they need to thrive and live lives of joy and peace. And as you do this, you realize you're creating a vision. Your third eye is becoming activated. Now vision a world, your world, our world, with a foundation of unconditional love, where everyone has everything they need. And humanity is at peace. And just bring your vision into your heart, giving thanks for this opportunity to lift us up out of any stagnant energy and into the flow of energy. I give thanks. And I know that this transmission of this meditation is not only for me and those here, but is transmitted through the ethers to everybody, everyone, without condition, all judgment suspended about if they're good or they're bad or they're deserving or undeserving. Oh my goodness, for all. And so within your heart, allow yourself to just settle into that vision. Wow, this is a beautiful vision. And allow yourself to visit your vision. And maybe that's not your vision. What is your vision? This is my vision. If you like this vision, please join me and train with me so that we are a transmitter through the ethers to everyone. So all hearts are awakened with the remembering. And so, in love and light, my dear ones, we give thanks for all that has occurred this day, for this message of love that has been given, for the receiving of this love. We give thanks. And for the transmission of this love into our world, we are most grateful. And so it is. And just bring your energy back.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys. It's extremely difficult. Morgan is making for me extremely difficult to say the last things and say bye to you. So please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can reach more and more people with this unbelievably powerful knowledge of Morgan. So she's sharing this absolutely free for everyone. So please share this channel for these messages to be actually heard long and far and all around world. Like at the moment, we are in different parts of the world.
We're in our
Morganne,
right and perfect spots. we are in our right and perfect spots.
yeah, it's sometimes interesting how I manage end up where I am so far from my home, and what is the God's really message there and plan there. I still don't know 100%, but yeah, I'm working on it. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. And Jeannie is saying thank you, Morganne. That was very helpful.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
yeah, thank you, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And see you next week. We are here every week, apart from if something happens to one of us. So God bless and see you next week.